G'day amigos, Carlos Alberto Diego here from the Four Diegos, and welcome to the Four Diegos Hot Topic. With me tonight is Warren Diego. Warren, Italian football is in turmoil again. Match-fixing allegations left, right and centre. People are being put in jail, under house arrest. Some of the names, just Beppe Signori, a long-time successful Italian footballer, was picked up earlier this year. Cristiano Doni is another one, Italian international. More recently, we had Stefano Mauri, the captain of Lazio, that was picked up this week and put in jail because of his links to the match fixing. And of course, they've raided the Italian national team, their headquarters for the Euro 2012, with Leonardo Bonucci being cited, and also Antonio Conte, the coach of Juventus. What is going on in Italy? Another match fixing scandal. They had one in 2006 with referee tampering. They've had the betting scandals and match fixing scandals for decades, with AC Milan back in the 70s being relegated to second division. Juventus was relegated in 2006. This is endemic in Italian football. Can it be fixed?
Well, if they put as much effort into fixing football matches, Carlos, as they should into their economy, the Italians might be okay. Look, I think there's weeds that grow in your grass at home, and if you don't actually do something about them, they end up killing everything else, and the grass dies and you've got no backyard. The simple fact of the matter is, you get a sense that in Italian football they've sort of wanted to give the impression that they've dealt with these things properly and harshly and whatever, but there's been an undercurrent where they've known people have got away with it. They haven't dealt with everyone. Some of the guys have been too big to deal with. They want to deal with clubs rather than individuals. I think it can be fixed, Carlos, but there's got to be a will to eradicate it, and that's every person, no matter whether you're the boot starter or the president of a club or the captain of a football team. And you just get a sense, is there a willingness in Italian football to do that?
Well, we had the Prime Minister of Italy, Mario Monti, this week calling for all leagues to be shut down for 3 years to make sure that this is sorted out. I don't think that'll have happened. The ultras won't ever let it happen. The Tifosi, the violent fans over there who basically own the clubs and own the stadiums, they would never allow that to happen. But, geez, something as radical as that, if that's the way they're talking, there hasn't been too many calls against him for saying that. I think it's got to the point now. I mean, if you look at the crowds at Italian stadiums now, that the stadiums are falling apart because no one's maintaining them. They're council-run stadiums. Clubs don't want to invest in them. They're all full of young males, and there's no females. There's no families there. Kids won't go to the games anymore. It's too dangerous. The Italian sides aren't commanding Europe the way they used to. The Italian national side does very well, I've got to say, in World Cups. They're probably going to do very well in the Euros coming up in a couple of weeks' time. But I just don't know whether they've got that will to fix it.
And I'll ask you a question, Carlos. Are we naive? Because I'm saying, are we naive to the fact that if corruption can be so endemic in the third biggest Italian, Spanish, German and English football, the four biggest competitions in the world, are we naive enough to think that if it's happening in Italian football, that it's not permeating through more minor competition throughout Europe? Or is this just associated with Italian football? What do you think?
It's an interesting one, because I would have thought that if this happened in Spain or in England, there's so much investigative journalism. The media is so into every possible story, looking for every possible way to write something in the paper. You'd think they would have found some evidence in Spain or England. And of course, you get the odd story, the Bruce Grobbelaar story and a couple of other stories here and there where players have bet on games that they've played in or that they know of. We're not supposed to. But really, Italy just keeps on rearing its ugly head. I mean, there was a story many years ago with an Australian player that I know who told me that a lot of the players for Juventus were loaned out to clubs. All the clubs are full of these players who are loaned out from Juventus. So you get maybe sometimes 3 and 4 players from Juventus loaned out.
It permeates through all the teams.
Well, if you're a player that belonged to Juventus and playing for another club against Juventus, sometimes you could get, I'm assuming you could be got to, and maybe had a word to maybe lie down and not try so hard. I mean, just the structure of Italian football, for some reason, I mean, the money's not bad. I'm not sure why they feel the need to go down this track, but obviously they're not. The players aren't satisfied. Look, the mafia, the Camorra, the Neapolitan mafia, is very, very strong as far as the criminal match-fixing organisation here that a lot of them are connected to. Maybe they get to families, maybe they get to the players and threaten them and make them get involved. Who knows what sort of pressure the players are on. But this is endemic, this is widespread, and it'll be interesting to see whether they can come good.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I mean, sometimes we get deluded by the lifestyle and the money, but the Pakistani cricketers have proved you can fly around the world, play all these games, but in the end, the money's not great in relative terms. And if a guy makes you an offer that's going to change your life, well, you're tempted, and that's been proven. But do what cricket's done to some degree. Chuck them all in jail like they did, and maybe let's hope that it improves. But on the face of it, you'd think it's a big task.
It's very, very sad for the Italian fans in Italy and also Italian fans around the world, and also some of the players who are tarnished with the slur of match fixing and referee tampering and so forth. But we'll see what happens. One thing for sure, you'll get the Italian national team performing very well in the Euros because they'll really galvanise and come together, and they always do quite well when there's a scandal. But anyway, that's Warren and Carlos's hot topic for this week. Until next week, ole!